Electric football. AFC East preview.
Too many syllables.
Go, Stu.
All right, 2014 AFC East. Here's how I'm going to predict the finish. I have it, and just watch the last 7 seasons of this show, and you'll probably have the same order.
Pretty close.
Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, and Bills. Patriots, all they did was go out and add more talent for Tom Brady to throw the ball at. They lost LeGarrette Blount, they lost Aqib Talib, they lost Brandon Spikes, but they bring in Darrelle Revis, Brandon Browner, Patrick Chung, Brandon LaFell. Let's just, nothing changes here. Brady's still the quarterback, Belichick's still the coach, Gronkowski's back. I guess LaFell is the number 2 wide receiver next to Edelman. And it doesn't matter who their running back is because it's never been a factor for this team. One of them always steps up. They're all little guys running around. You can't find them behind the fat asses of the offensive linemen, and next thing you know, they're in the end zone, whether it's Ridley or whoever else is on the team. So that's how I see it. Brady said today, I'll stop playing when I suck. And he doesn't think he's going to suck for a while, and I don't either. They were almost in the Super Bowl last year. They were one drive away from being in the Super Bowl again.
That explains why I stopped playing around 3rd grade.
Yeah, and I never played. Dolphins look to be improved. I'm a little biased, but I do like the new offensive coach, Bill Lazor, who, did wonders with Nick Foles in Philadelphia. And if he can do that with Ryan Tannehill and bring that kind of offense, I don't know that we have those weapons yet, but at least we have an offense that isn't Mike Wallace up the right side and run up the middle 3 times and punt. They brought in fixes for the offensive line, and the new GM had to do it. Brought in Brandon Albert at left tackle, drafted
that guy.
70 from James from Tennessee, really strong right guard. He's looked very good. Bringing Cortland Finnegan, Louis Delmas in the backfield. No Sean Moreno, who looked really good for the one series he was in, but he'll probably blow out his knee, and that'll be that. So an improved O-line, which was really the fault of the team last year. A smarter, more effective offensive coach. We'll see. The Jets pulled off an all or nothing. Jay Samara was a great draft pick, tight end. They bring in Eric Decker, Chris Johnson, Dimitri Patterson. They brought him in, and he's gone now. So, that's what happens when you write things down well in advance. But the problem is they also brought in Michael Vick. They went out and got weapons, forgetting they didn't have a quarterback. They've got Geno Smith and Mike Vick, and I'm just not sold on that. They should have a strong running game, as they typically do, and their defense is pretty strong. Not a lot of loss from last year. And the Bills, man, that's an organization in flux again. Who's their quarterback? E.J. Manuel, was their number 1 draft pick, and then just the other day they signed Kyle Orton. Well, there's a great vote of confidence, coach, so that's going to screw them up. Manuel's been horrible in the preseason. That doesn't mean he's going to be horrible in the regular season. He's got strong runners. He's got Sammy Watkins, who's now kind of injured, but Sammy Watkins is going to be a beast when he is on the field. But it's not enough in this division, I think, to come in anything other than 4th.
Okay. We're pretty much in lockstep here, which is weird. If you've watched any of our NFC stuff, we completely disagreed on first place, last place in some of the divisions. But it's simple. Until the Patriots lose Brady, Belichick, and with Gronkowski supposedly starting from the first game, if he can stay healthy. The only question that's really weird about the Patriots that Stu didn't bring up is whose Wheaties did Logan Mankins pick? He pissed in somebody's Wheaties because
there was a problem a couple of years ago, from what I heard.
They set him off for another tight end, and it's like, okay, I guess. I mean, you don't want to argue with Belichick. They have certainly not been the dominant teams that we remember. Lack of big play wide receivers has really hurt them. When Julian Edelman is your number 1, you do have some problems.
Absolutely.
But Brady is talented enough to get them to the top of this division again. Until that doesn't happen,
until it stops.
We'll jump off the bandwagon when he sucks.
Yeah.
And he does not. Dolphins, Stu knows him way better than I do. I think the complete loss of your offensive line, weakness at guards there, and I just think that you don't have enough playmakers. Mike Wallace did not turn out the way you would hope last year. There's no
All they did was run him up the side instead of get him involved. So
yeah, I guess a new offensive coordinator may change that, but I don't think Mike Wallace is a complete wide receiver.
He's not a number one.
He's not the go over the middle on third down and make the tough catch kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the Dolphins jumping up that much. The team that's really a little hard to figure is the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Stu mentioned the bringing in of Michael Vick, which is fascinating because what they did to Mark Sanchez was they undermined his confidence and took all the attention away from him by bringing in Tebow, whose career they absolutely just mauled and threw out. And now they're bringing in Mike Vick, who is the Tebow to Geno Sanchez. Geno Smith. It's like one of those weird SAT questions, like Tebow is to Sanchez as Vick is to Smith. They've made huge bets. They knew their offense was the weakness. They've made huge bets bringing in Decker and Chris Johnson, and I don't expect those to pay off. I think Eric Decker was vastly overrated because of Peyton Manning's brilliance.
Can't argue.
And you know, if you're the second wide receiver for Peyton Manning, and everyone's worried about they've got a great wide receiver. Oh, they've got a great tight end. Yeah, Eric Decker's not going to get the kind of coverage. But now, who else scares you on the Jets? Greg Salas? No.
He does.
Eric Decker's going to bring an awful. He's going to be going up against the number one, cornerbacks, the Darrelle Revises of this world, and I think he's going to suffer for it. Chris Johnson is going to have a couple of bursts where you go, wow, Chris Johnson went for 50, but he's going to have an awful lot where he goes for -2.
Yeah.
So I don't see the Jets' offense improving. I see what I see on the Jets is weird. I see depth, but not greatness in the offensive positions of quarterback. I mean, they had, maybe this is the Clemson in me, but in camp this year, it was Smith, Vick, Matt Sims, who isn't bad and who I believe made it back onto their practice squad, and Taj Boyd. Great depth, but nobody great there, if you know what I mean. Running back, you've got Powell, you've got Ivory, and you've got Chris Johnson, who used to be great, but I don't believe is great now. So I don't see the Jets' offense improving. If they lose against Oakland in the biggest cakewalk game you could possibly start the season with, they're doomed because their season is incredibly tough in the beginning. And that will lead to calls of, Rex needing to decide, do I stake my career on Geno Smith improving in the weaker games in the second half? I don't think he's going to do that. So I think there's going to be dysfunction. I think there's going to be quarterback changes. I think there's going to be headlines, and I don't think the Jets are going to do very well.
I still blame the GM for the Jets for never giving Rex a quarterback, honestly.
Tannenbaum or Idzik?
Both. Okay. Neither one delivered.
Yeah, well, Idzik really hasn't had a chance.
Idzik doesn't want Rex.
The Bills losing Kiko Alonso hurts.
Huge.
As a Clemson man, I am pulling for C.J. Spiller and Sammy Watkins. It's tough to see Sammy Watkins getting hurt in a preseason game where he already had rib problems. You know what? You don't need to get him on perfect sync with E.J. Manuel in the preseason. Let's make sure he's healthy before you ruin your number one draft pick. That's the kind of decisions that bad teams make, and they've made a bad team. Now, I disagree with you on the Kyle Orton thing. I think he's clearly brought in as a backup. I don't think there's going to be a quarterback controversy. Yeah. Your future is Manuel, and if you ruin that, that's really the kind of bad decisions teams make. Right now, the Bills just need to worry about, are they still going to be in Buffalo, and will they have to play John Bon Jovi songs in Canada?
No, because that group kicked him out.
Yeah,
he's out.
I know. I'm using that as a goof.
Shot to the heart.
And I don't have Buffalo Bills. I'm a Buffalo Bill. On a steel horse I ride.
To Toronto.
We need a win, or I'm dead. Anyway,
wow, that's
enough bad Bon Jovi covers. So I have the division: Pats, Dolphins, Jets, Bills. Stuart has it the exact same way, if I remember right. We're going to move on. Thank you for watching Electric Football.
We'll be right back.